All right, so I'm going to read a little bit from Lao Tzu. But before I do, I heard Michael Pollan. If any of you know his work, he's written a book called How to Change Your Mind, and there's I think a docu series with his work on Netflix as well. He also has written a few other books. So anyway, I heard him say something a couple days ago that was interesting about the state of our minds. So if you think about your mind as being like a snow hillside or a mountainside that is covered with snow, and you're going down and like choose your path. Do you like snowshoeing, cross country skiing, or downhill skiing? Right. So, but you take a groove down a track, down a hillside, and then you get up and you do it again, and then you get up and do it again, and the next thing you know, you've got this groove set down on the hill. I've experienced this sledding as well, where you try to go into a different groove, sledding down a hill, and suddenly you just get bounced right back into the same groove that's already been laid down, and it's very difficult to get out of that groove into a different path. And Michael Pollan said, this is like the mind, that the way we think, the way our thoughts move through our mind, all the repetitive thoughts that we have constantly, very unconsciously at times as well, are like these grooves that become very difficult to change our mind and to change the way we think and the processing and the patterns of our thinking. And really that we need to cultivate things that bring fresh new snowfall down onto the mountain to erase those grooves and get us into a place of a pure, clean slate again, so that our mind isn't so trapped by its habits. So there's lots in the yogic realms that help us with this. Our yoga practice every day helps us with this. When we become embodied and when we become more able to live in the present moment, then the expansiveness of that hillside really becomes available to us. So this is a bit by Lao Tzu. All right. This is the nature of the unenlightened mind. The sense organs, which are limited in scope and ability, randomly gather information. This partial information is arranged into judgments, which are based on previous judgments, which are usually based on someone else's ideas. These false concepts and ideas are then stored in a highly selective memory system. Distortion upon distortion, the mental energy flows constantly through contorted and inappropriate channels. And the more one uses the mind, the more confused one can become. To eliminate the vexations of the mind, it doesn't help to do something. This only reinforces the mind's mechanics. Dissolving the mind is instead a matter of non-doing. Simply avoid becoming attached to what you see and think. Relinquish the notion that you are separated from the all-knowing mind of the universe. Then you can recover your original pure insight and see through all illusions. Knowing nothing, you will be aware of everything. Remember, because clarity and enlightenment are within our own nature, they are regained without moving an inch. So close your eyes and just let that settle. And if we are imagining that or not imagining, if we are feeling into the connection of the divine energy that is us and all around us, can you allow your mind to just kind of dissolve into that state of knowing? Can you have a sense of expanding awareness without attaching to what you are becoming aware of? Imagine the snow, heavy snow falling on these grooves where our mind becomes this beautiful, clear space. The beauty of looking at untouched snow, the beauty of a still lake. I'm aware of your breathing. Feeling that rise and fall, slowing things down, becoming aware. Perceive your breath in all the ways that you experience it. Place our hands together at your heart. Just take a moment to offer the intention of clearing these paths, to having a sense of expanded awareness and spaciousness that is unattached to judgment or outcome. Release the hands and find your way onto your back. Now, notice just about everything we do all day long, right, has habits built into it, has judgments built into it. And of course, that's just the nature of our mind. That's helpful to us in a lot of ways. We get through the day because of repetition and habit. Um, but notice when it starts to hinder you. So, the quality of your mind, your thinking, notice when those patterns no longer serve you. So as you come into your practice, do you have judgments about or expectations about what you should or could be doing or what you can't or won't be doing? So just see if you can open yourself up to the possibility of what this moment has available to it, both in your mind and in your body. So stretch your arms overhead, let go of expectations and thoughts of what you should be doing, and just feel into the length of one side and then the length of the other side. And if something's not quite right, make an adjustment. So play always inside your practice to discover the modifications that are needed for this moment. And then bring your knees into your chest and rock around a little bit. Oftentimes when we have something not feeling good in our body, we can fixate on what we can't do instead of expanding into what we can do. So feel into the expansion as best as you can. Let's circle the knees. Circle the other way. Now open up your knees and bring them back. Let your practice be a curiosity where you're just curious. How does my body feel today? What is available to me today? How can I move safely and comfortably today? All right, happy baby, grab onto your feet and gentle. Allow your knees to start descending toward your ribs and rock a little bit, swaying from side to side. Let your head get heavy. And then relax. Grab onto your right knee, left leg comes long on the ground, and feel into that sense of squeeze in your knee and your hip. Go ahead and move around in your ankles, wiggle your toes. Feel into the breath. Let your head get super heavy on the ground. Relax everything that can be relaxed. Even the way we hold tension in the body is usually a habitual pattern. So just bring your awareness to notice where your habits lie. Habits of the mind, habits of the body.
Left knee into the chest, stretch your right leg long on the ground and feel free to move your feet. Every time you discover a new sensation, enjoy it. First of all, kind of revel in it, and also be curious and aware about what is it that you're feeling, what's available today. And stretch your body out like a star. Reach and expand, wiggle your fingers and your toes. And then draw your knees into your chest to give your head a little lift up. And repeat a couple of times, moving with your breath. So we expand outward on the in-breath, get big and spacious, and then get small and snug on your out-breath. Enjoy your whole body being able to move in this way. All right, and then relax your head down onto the ground, feet onto the floor, arms out to the sides if you want, and just windshield wiper your knees. Starting to wake up the spine, wake up the hips, the side bodies. All right, and then grab onto your strap and move through Supta Padangusthasana. So right foot in the strap, lift that leg straight up in the air. You can hold the strap with two hands if you have two hands available, or maybe just one hand if that feels better to you. Your left foot can come onto the ground or your left leg can come onto the ground. So just find the pathway in your body that gives a sense of freedom into your hips. All right, extend your crown and tail. Feel your foot lift up into the sky as your hip drops down toward the earth. Open up the bottom of your feet. Both of them feel a sense of flexing through those right toes. The heel lifts up. Soften the knee away from hyperextension. So you want a straight leg if you're able, but not a hyperextended leg. All right, take the strap in the right hand if you can, and open up the leg out to the side. Feeling into the rest of your body. So still feel that reaching of crown all the way to your left foot, grounding through the left side of your body as you open up the inner thighs. Inhale, lift that leg straight back up. Take the strap into the left hand and cross the right leg over to the left. So crossing the midline. Keep your right femur bone moving away from your shoulder. Heavy head. Enjoy whatever sensation arises, wherever a new part of your body is awakening. Enjoy that. Let your mind kind of dance around inside sensation. And then lift that leg straight back up again. Let's put both feet into the strap for a moment. Press both legs up in the air. Notice the difference between how your left and right leg feel. Long spine. Let's flex and point the toes here, opening up the front of the feet, opening up the calves, the shins. And then we're going to put the left foot in the strap. Right foot comes down or right leg comes down. You decide. Soft shoulders, have enough give on the strap where you're not tensing your neck and shoulders to do this. Reach up into the strap with your foot, drop down into your hip. Feel the extension of the spine. Breathe into the openness of your hamstring and your calf muscles. Feel a sense of rooting of your femur bone. Let's take the strap into the left hand. Open up the leg out to your left leg out to the left. Make contact with your right leg in your mind. So your right leg, your right hip, your right ribs, shoulder, everything is feeling grounded. Your head is heavy. Breathe here. Lift that leg straight up. Take the strap into the other hand. Cross the left leg over the body. Move your left hip away from the shoulder. Try not to sickle your left foot, but press out through the big toe and inner heel. Head is heavy. Shoulders are relaxed. breathing well. Now lift that leg back up, take the strap off your foot, lower your leg down, a big giant star. Exhale, knees into your chest, pick up your head, and come rolling over onto your side. All right, so let's find our way onto all fours. So as you start to move into some cat-cows, see how your body feels. Can you have fullness of your vertebrae? Remember, anything that needs to be modified, be creative. Find ways, different vectors of movement, different support systems to help your body feel as open and free as it can. How's your breath? And then let's find our way into movement that is not so prescribed. And so just let your body kind of find its way. You can circle your spine anywhere or your hips. You can move laterally side to side. You can have more a sense of fluidity and wave-like motions and swirls in your body. Make sure you're breathing. Now walk your hands forward or walk your knees back, whichever feels better. And we're going to drop our chest toward the ground, keeping your hips high. So we're not coming back towards child's pose. Hips over knees, chest starts moving toward the floor. Maybe you come down, maybe your head reaches the ground, maybe not. Feel into that thoracic spine and open things up. Go ahead and walk your knees and hands back to neutral. Move around your spine again. Inhale your right arm up in the air and just slide that shoulder down under. So you twist the spine, waking up the spine in a different way now. Fill up your breath, see where the breath can travel to. Put little bubbles inside your ribs to open up. Let your head get heavy. Reach that right arm all the way up in the air. Hand comes down onto the ground. Second side, lift that arm up. Exhale, slide the arm under. Gaze toward the ground, breathing deeply. A full inhale, full exhale. Square everything toward the floor just for a moment. If you want to stretch the outside of that shoulder. And reach the arm all the way up in the air. Hand comes down onto the ground. Cat-cows again. Move around in your spine. Breathing deep. Back to child's pose. So dog pose. And if you can't bear weight on the ground, there's so many ways to modify this. You can do a L pose at the wall. You can put your hands on a piece of furniture or the back of the chair and stretch back. You can take your forearms onto the ground. You can do all sorts of things to modify this posture depending on what your abilities are. Let's pedal your feet. Drop one heel, drop the other heel. Feel into what's available in your calves. Your feet, spread out the bones of your feet, get alive in there. Once you're ready to be still, hug your hands toward each other. Drop weight into the index finger mounds. See if you can feel support for your shoulders. Reach your heart toward your pelvis and relax your neck. Walk your feet forward. Come to Uttanasana. Relax your hips, shimmy your head. Shake a little bit if it feels good. A halfway lift. Spine gets spacious and long. Exhale and float back down. Rising up, arms coming to the sky. Find your breath.
A big inhale, lean back if it feels nice. And then cactus the arms and release the hands down. Interlace your hands behind your back, open your chest, fold forward again, opening the fronts of your shoulders. And then release your hands down onto the ground. A halfway lift, spine is spacious. Exhale, melt again. Rising all the way up one more time. Bring the arms to the sky. Grab onto the right wrist with the left hand and feel a big length through the side of your body. So reaching over to the side, ground your feet. Feel that your ribs can drop down into your heel and your ribs can rise up to your wrists. Okay, coming back to center, change sides. Grab onto that left wrist. Extend not from your shoulder, but from your rib cage. Open things up, breathe, drop some weight into your feet. Coming back up and release your hands down. Shrug your shoulders a few times here so you feel that sense of mobility. Now go the other way, shrug your shoulders the other way. Okay. And then lift your arms all the way up in the air. Big swan dive forward. Fold and relax. Soften your skull. A halfway lift. Spine is spacious. Exhale. And melt back down. Relax your neck. Let's step our left foot back. So our right foot is in front now. Opening up our legs. Feel your breath. Travel along your breath. We're straightening and bending the front knee. Start to feel that you're in the flow of your practice. That means you're in the flow of your breath. See if moving your awareness into the flow of your breath is like that snow that we're looking for on the hillside, that we can bring our awareness into the present moment really well by focusing on sensation and breath. Let go of expectations. Okay. Let's put our left hand down either onto a block or onto the floor, and we're going to spin through some twists here. So as we do this big sweep of the arm, make sure it's a sweep of the rib cage, that you're turning your whole rib cage as you swing your arm up in the air like a backstroke stroke, but we're not doing this from the shoulder, we're doing this from the ribs. One more time, open up that spine and release your hands down. Put your back knee onto the ground and take your hands on the inside edge of your right foot. Stretch into the length of your hip flexor. You can always have your hands on blocks too. Find your breath, feel the deep compression in your right hip and the openness in your left hip. Let's curl the back toes under, and if it's comfy, lift that thigh up off the ground. Extend the heart forward. And then if your foot turned out, bring it back. Find your lunge or climbing up. Crescent lunge. Arms can come up. Let's interlace the fingers and reach your head back and lengthen it upward. Try to get your ribs off your pelvis. Lean back a little teeniest of bits. And then release your hands and cactus the arms to open your chest. Press your hands down onto the ground. Back foot comes forward. Flow with breath. On your inhale, find a halfway lift. And on the exhale, melt and fold. Okay, take your left foot in front now. Right foot is behind. Hands on blocks if that feels good for your body. Let's bend and straighten the front knee. Breathing well. In the lunge, put your hand down, right hand, either on a block or on the ground. Let's start to move through some twisting here. So try your best not to let this pose be all about the shoulder moving, but let the ribs move. I feel that you're really churning through the center of your torso, not just your shoulder. Place your knee down onto the ground, back knee onto the ground. Just enjoy this hip flexor stretch for a moment. When you're ready, let's take our left hand on the inside edge of your left foot. Your left toes can turn out a little bit if that's more comfy for your body. Start to feel that deep compression in the left hip. And then when you're ready, you can curl your toes under and lift your back thigh off the ground. And you can ignore me and keep your knee down, shoulders away from the ears. Find that support system through your torso. And then let's heel toe your foot back straight so you're in a normal lunge if you had turned your toes out, and rise up, crescent lunge. Arms can come up if that feels good in your body. Maybe you need a different pathway today to help your chest and torso stay free. Okay. Let's interlace if you can. Your hands, tip your head back with a little bit of balance. Open the chest. And then cactus, open the arms if it feels good. Only if it feels good, do these things. Hand down onto the ground, dog pose. So find the fullness of breath. Full inhale, full exhale. Come forward into a plank. Hold yourself steady, breathing well. All right, put your knees down onto the ground so you can find near a couple of shoulder rolls. Inhale to cobra pose. Melt and fold back down. Okay. Take your hands wide, rising up here. Feel the difference in your body with your hands out wide on the ground. And then lower yourself down. Now take your hands closer to your ribs, maybe finger pads, your nail beds in line with your nipples, somewhere around that line. Draw your shoulders back away from the ears. Engage your core. Inhale and lift up and feel the back body muscles. Keep your neck soft. Breathe well. All right, and relax and melt back down. Now we're going to take our arms out to the sides like goalposts. So elbows are out from our shoulders. Stabilize your core. Use your legs, your glutes, your center body. Inhale and rise up. From here, see what it feels like to drag your elbows down toward your hips, staying up with your torso, and then bring your elbows back. And release and melt back down. Let's repeat one more time. Rising up. Elbows drag toward your hips. Everything's off the ground. Bring them back. Lift up just a moment and then release and rest here. Okay, we're going to do this one-sided for just a moment. So engage your core, stabilize your center. Inhale, lift your right leg. I'm sorry, not right leg, right arm in that goalpost up, and then melt it back down. Left arm, lifting up, and release back down. Come up onto all fours. Release your spine. So wiggle around, cat-cows, sway, whatever feels good. And find your way back to child's pose. Find your breath. Relax here. Forearms on the ground. Inhale and lift up into dolphin pose. Okay. Hips are high. Extend through your spine.
See if you can activate some more of those muscles on the back of your body, shoulders, the back of your spine. Lift your heart up toward the pelvis, shoulders away from the ears. Round your forearms. And then release and relax. Soften here, bring your arms down to your sides and let them go. All right, come up onto all fours. You can always put a forearm on a block if you need it, if you need to. Take your right hand behind your head, elbows out. So 3 points of contact on the ground. Find your breath. Inhale, open up to the side. And then relax, face the ground. Stretch your left leg straight back behind you. See if you can feel this effort of your back body. Engage your core, knit your ribs in. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, elbow and knee coming underneath. Inhale, bring it out. Exhale, bring it in. Bring it on out, elbow wide. Hand down onto the ground. Change sides. Start just with your left hand on the back of your skull. Inhale, open your chest. Exhale, back to center. One more time. Open your chest to the side. Release it back. Keep your hand there. Stretch your right leg straight back behind you in the air. Try not to have weight of your hand on your head. Don't strain your neck. Lift your elbow. Find your breath. Deep breath in. Exhale. Elbow and knee come underneath. Inhale, widen out. Knit your ribs in. Exhale, touch elbow or knee or come there, maybe not touch, but go in that direction. Place your hand down onto the ground. Child's pose, arms down at your side. Shake out your wrists, find your breath. Okay, so you have a choice here. Not everybody's going to be able to do this posture. So right foot comes forward, back knee is going to stay on the ground. Back to the twisting kind of vibe that we did earlier. Hand can be on a block, left hand on a block or on the ground. We're going to reach back with the right arm, open the chest, so twist the body to do this, and pick up your left foot with your right hand, okay? Now, if this posture is not good for you for a variety of reasons, then you're going to do this on your side. So we're going to lie down and we'll do each side where we bend our knee and grab onto our foot and stretch our quad here. So it's a little less intense on the hip flexors and you're off your knee. So take the pathway, one of those two choices that feels good to you. Find your breath. Release, come out of that posture, come back to the other side. So left foot is in front, or we switch and lie down on our other side. Find your lunge, right hand on a block or on the floor. Open up your ribs, twist open, reach back and grab your foot. Once you're here, try not to fall. Hug into the midline, ground your front big toe. Let the twist happen in your spine. Open up your quads and your hip flexors. If you're on your side, keep your knee in line with your hip. Stretch that knee away. Feel the pelvis stabilize. So pubic bone toward navel, tailbone toward knees. All right, and then we get to relax out of there. Come on up to dog pose, or just come up to stand. Okay. Extend through the spine here. Walk your feet forward, come to Uttanasana. Shimmy your hips. Inhale for a halfway lift. Melt and fold. Rising on up. Big breath. Trace down through the center of your body. Breathing.
Finding the full inhale. A long, steady exhale. Is your practice bringing you into the present? Have you noticed any judgments about what you're doing, what you can do, what you can't do, what you should do, what you used to be able to do, what you wish you could do? Do you have negative things or positive things that you say inside your head about your practice? Do you judge yourself? So let's see if we can just relinquish all of that flotsam of the thoughts, right? Just this foam on top of a wave, just let it go. Bring yourself into the bottom of your feet. Soften into your knees. Let your breath travel into your belly and your pelvis. Relax your arms down. Awesome. Drop your weight into your right foot. We're going to pick up our left. Now, if this is not a good posture for you, you can hold on to a wall. You can use a strap around your foot if you need to. There's lots of choices. Reach the other arm up in the air. Try to notice if your knee is coming out to the side. See if you can keep your knee dropping down toward the ground. Find your breath. Kick forward, or kick backward, I should say, and lean forward. Find your breath. Lots of work in your glutes. Stabilize with your pelvic floor and your core. Use those back muscles. All the way up to stand on that one foot. Bring your left knee high. Both arms up. Twist to the left. Drop the shoulders. It's okay if you're wobbly. And then release that foot down onto the ground and just shake this out. Okay, so let go. There's nothing that's needs to linger in your body from postures. You can soften and let it all go. You can take a breath, release a breath. And we'll come to the posture on our left side. So drop your foot, left foot deep into the ground. We're going to pick up our right foot. Find your breath. Modify this however you need to. Support yourself if your balance is a little off today. Find your breathing. Kick forward. I find it very helpful to engage core, but also to soften your standing knee. Try not to lock yourself out. Breathing deeply. Maybe different arm position might help. You know, it might help to bring your arm back next to your body or out to the side. If you get real tense in your shoulders, use your core and your back muscles. Use your glutes. And we're going to come on up. Bring that knee high, arms up, twisting to the right. Drop the shoulders, find your breath. Come back to center, foot down onto the ground, Tadasana again. Full breath here. Let's step our left foot back. Right foot is in front now. And so we're coming into my mat's all straight up. So let me change this. We're coming into Virabhadrasana 1. Okay, so we want to have our right foot forward and our back heel is down onto the ground. Lean forward and take your arms behind you. See if you can engage your triceps and the muscles of your spine. Find your breath as you bring your arms up. Still work with the muscles along your back as you rise upward. Tip your head back, interlace your fingers. Notice if your floating ribs just pop. See if you can integrate. Drop your ribs down into your back heel. See if you can lift your spine off your pelvis as your ribs drop into the back heel. Arms back behind you now. Lean forward again. Hop up onto that right foot. Virabhadrasana 3. Warrior 3. Activate your glutes, both sides. Extend your spine. Reach your fingers toward your foot in the air. Okay. And then go ahead and stand up. 2 feet down onto the ground. Up under your toes, back under your heels. Let your feet find the ground. And then settle into Tadasana again. Close your eyes for a moment. Breathe into your feet. Let your exhales come a little slower. Balance poses often kind of show us where those rigid channels are in our mind. We want to do something, we guard, we hold, we attach. See if you can just do the undoing, undo the pose. Of course, we're still having that attention and awareness into what we're doing. We want to do it in a way that is relaxed and yielding, a way that brings awareness and spaciousness, expansiveness instead of rigidity and tightness. Bring your right foot back. Lean forward like Virabhadrasana 1, legs, arms behind you. Can you engage muscles but find softness, maybe in your fingers? Drop energy into your feet. And we're going to slowly lift our arms, and you don't have to. Your arms can be down the whole time, but if they're up, let them be up. Interlace your fingers, tip your head back, knit your ribs in, and drop weight into the back heel. See if you can find that you're not overarching this pose, that you have the chest awakening, the thorax opening, but your lumbar spine is not compressed. And then from here, release your hands down next to your sides, lean forward, hop up into Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3 here. So our chest and our pelvis is square to the ground. Engage that leg in the air. Standing leg works really hard. See if you can lose the hyperextension of your knee. Stretch your hands back. Use your back muscles. Use your core. Slowly put that foot down next to the other. Tadasana. And let it go. Shake it out. Release the posture. We're not holding on to anything. Detach from whether you feel like you have good balance or bad balance. Let's just breathe our way here. Time, arms lifting. Hold forward. Relax your spine. Wag your tail. Relax your shoulders. A halfway lift if it feels nice. Open up those glutes after that pose we just did. Melt and fold. And let's come down onto the ground. Come onto your back. Plant your feet. Enjoy. Rest your shoulders. We're going to lift up into bridge pose, but before we do that, I want you to feel like you can let your feet be neutral, 4 corners onto the ground, and see if you can drag your tailbone toward your shoulders to kind of activate some of those lumbar spine muscles in a very safe way. So just do this back and forth a little bit. Relax, maybe a little bit of a posterior tilt of the pelvis, and then drag your sacrum, your tail toward your shoulder blades, and feel some of those low back muscles engaged, and then relax. So sometimes I think we get a little afraid of using our low back for fear of straining our low back, but we want these muscles to be strong, to be able to hold us. So one more time, kind of drag your sacrum toward your shoulders and then relax. Now we get to lift up into bridge pose. You can interlace your hands or not. Your arms can just be down at your sides.
You can even bend your elbows and just push your upper arms into the ground, whatever feels good. Four corners of your feet active. Now feel those muscles that we just kind of worked. They're hopefully a little bit alive in you now. So we can work the muscles along our spine and our low back in conjunction with others. So engage your glutes. Drag your heels now toward your shoulder blades. Feel your hamstrings, glutes, and back muscles, that whole back line. Find your breath. Imagine a block between your thighs to hold. And then release and relax. Spine down, feet are wide to hip width, and just rock your knees left and right. Okay, now if you can do this against a wall, I recommend it. Okay, so we're going to do reverse pigeon pose. Actually, first just bring your knees to your chest and rock a little bit. Now, if you do happen to have a wall nearby, I would turn your body around so that your left foot can be, I have it on a piece of furniture. Maybe you have a couch edge or your bed or a piece of furniture, whatever works, to put your left foot on or a wall. And then relax your upper body. You can put your arms down at your sides or out to the sides, wherever feels good. Drop your tail and widen your sit bones. Stretch through the big toe and the inner heel. Just allow your hip to start open. We did, snuck in some glute work there in some of those poses. So just allow some of those muscles to release. Fill up your breath. Empty your breath. Then go ahead and change sides. So now our right foot's going to be on the wall and our left foot on our right knee. And you can bring your torso further away from the wall or closer to accommodate where your hip is able to stretch. Rest your head and shoulders. Relax your upper body. Stretch through the left big toe and inner heel. Feel that your pelvis is not, trying to compensate. Are your hips even to each other? Can you move slightly into an anterior tilt by just relaxing your tail toward the ground and widening your sit bones? And relax. So if you were near the wall, now move away so that you have room. We're going to come into a simple twist. We'll lift the hips, bring them over to the right, knees come up, drop them left. Now enjoy this twist. You can turn your head if your body is comfy with that. Breathing deeply. Your knees, head back to neutral. Shimmy your hips left, knees come up, drop them right. Twisting to the side. Full breath here. Allow your neck to relax, your shoulders to relax. Supta. Neutral spine. Feet onto the ground. Full breaths. Now I know you have sometime, so we're gonna move into Shavasana. Now I know sometimes when you move into Shavasana, it can be hard to keep the mind resting in the present moment because there's no longer activities to give the mind to do. So do your very best. This will be a couple minutes extra of Shavasana, a little extra long. So give yourself the opportunity to really deeply sink in. Remember that there's nothing to do to dissolve the mind other than to just allow. You don't have to do anything, you have to undo. So start with feeling a heavy whole body. Notice the first place that dropped weight easily. Scan and see if there's any place that's not dropping weight easily. Is there any support you need for this pose so you can feel very comfortable? To have that grounding. Melt your skull again. Get your head very heavy. Relax your eyes. Relax your jaw. Enjoy your body at rest. Melt it in. Wiggle your toes and roll out your wrists. Simply turn your head from side to side. Have a big stretch. Squeeze your chest a little bit. And come on to your side. Slowly bring yourself up to a seated position. And carefully bring the gifts of your practice with you as you come to sit. You feel a sense of awareness, groundedness, spaciousness. Slow breathing pattern, sense of relaxation. Bring your hands together. Let's just offer these gifts outward. Send your loving kindness to another. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.